Let me say before all else, I love you. Like from the bottom of my feet to my crown, you nourish me. You are my son.
You are my son. When you came through me, a leader was born, a king. I knew you were a mountain from the moment you claimed your space. When your bottom was first slapped, the sound you made was more like a laugh than a cry. You looked around, eyes wide open, to see what you had just manifested.
For 9 months I had you, a bundle of light inside me just waiting to be born, and to you I surrender all. Everything I am that is good and every piece of me that's ever been broken, it's all yours. 'Cause I'm all yours. I am here for you to lean into. I am here for you to learn from. I am here to protect you, help grow you, be part of your evolution, to give you food for life.
To prepare you for a mighty tall walk in this world.
And it don't come easy.
You gotta watch your step.
Step over the crack.
Keep stepping through the valley.
With your head up. I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Like, I can tell you don't sweat the small stuff, but ain't nothing small when it comes to you, because you a black boy. And one day I claim that you will be a strong black man. And I know that what makes you who you are will often represent a threat in today's society. Overstand what is often built in the root of this system. The rules, the laws, the politics, the structure and the fabric of this place. Those are in place to keep you small, to break you, to move death closer to you than he should be. And you see, what I build, oh honey, I build to keep you tall, to make you hungry for truth. Son, I am raising you so that you are empowered enough to disobey, oppose, resist, and defy the lies, the propaganda. You see, I love you to life. You will be a probiotic in an unhealthy system that is otherwise here to manipulate you into thinking that you are the disease. But I love you to life. Now, you're going to learn that some people never get enough power. And those people, you see, they don't want you to have any, and every man needs a little bit of power. So since you can't stay my baby forever, and I wouldn't want you to anyway, I am preparing you to sweat and to fight and to sweat some more, to not be buried alive. So come hungry to your mother's table, son, and I'm going to feed you defiance.
You cannot get the education you need without educating yourself.
My son is going to read.
Too often there's an assumption made about you around here where we live, especially just because of the association made with you being a black boy.
This school board thinks our people don't care, our children aren't smart, they don't deserve a good education, and waiting on somebody's validation is a slow and painful process my son won't have to go through.
You will come to know your own worth. Don't let anyone define and label you. This educational system would have you sit silent in overcrowded classrooms, inside of window ledges, in buildings with ceilings falling down and buckets and halls to catch water, with bathrooms where doors don't lock and there's no tissue.
As a parent that cares, I will have you know I won't be grateful for the crumbs that fall from the table of those that sit in a higher tax bracket. Copied, shared, and outdated textbooks. His school has inadequate AC in the summer and improper heat in the winter.
Your classes will sometimes have culturally incompetent teachers, and many that don't look like you or care for you.
These teachers, they think they already know our children. They stereotype them, so they will never get to know them. And so your security and police are just roaming the halls, just looking for the next student to harass.
But you will have your head in a book every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And you all are going to give him homework, and he's going to do that homework and pass.
Having learned mostly rudimentary educational skills, but I will give you more homework to sharpen your mind until your thirst for knowledge becomes your own.
Everyone in the library is going to know my son by name.
By name.
By name.
You won't be stuck in front of the TV, programmed by its stereotypical depiction of you, and you will hear real music played in our house.
He won't hear any of that bad music played in my house.
That breaks you, and most of you don't even know it. And you won't be playing games all day or have an $800 cell phone.
No $800 cell phone.
So that real human connection is void.
No. I am raising the bar in this house. And I will not stray away from my mission.
To deepen your mind.
To deepen their minds.
They will read the poetry of Amiri Baraka, Sonia Sanchez, Nikki Giovanni, Claude McKay.
And books like The Fire Next Time and Before the Mayflower.
The autobiography of Malcolm X.
Pedagogy of the Oppressed.
Savage Inequalities.
The Coming.
The New Jim Crow.
Our sons are going to read the newspaper and watch the news.
To learn how to decipher fact from fiction.
They will learn what a subliminal message is. My daddy taught me when I was 4.
They will be on fire asking the bigger questions, and nobody will be able to put that fire out. Who was Columbus for real?
Are y'all even teaching that?
What families run the world?
They need to know.
Who profits off war?
And how?
And who killed Chairman Fred Hampton Sr.?
The truth ain't in them books they give y'all. And you need to understand why.
Our son's education will be worth a lot more than the sheet of paper it's printed on.
A lot more than the sheet of paper it's printed on.
Do you know who Francis Bellamy was? Do you know who Francis Bellamy was? They say he was a good white man. But if you look him up, his words tell the story. Son, Francis Bellamy stated that there are races more or less akin to my own, which my race may admit freely into America and gain nothing but advantage by the infusion of their wholesome blood, meaning European. But there are races which my race cannot assimilate without lowering their racial standard, which should be as sacred to us as the sanctity of our homes.
Lowering their racial standard. That was his belief at its core. Son, I want you to know who he is and that his thinking is not outdated yet. And that he is the same man who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance in 1892 that you recite every day at school. He wrote it in celebration of the 400th anniversary of Columbus' discovery of America.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Son, the pledge expects you to connect with the significance of the symbols and the colors of the flag. Red, white, and blue. Valor and bravery, purity and innocence, vigilance, perseverance, and justice, and your promise to show a vigorous support for this country where you live, so that this flag, your flag, they say, should not be stained, meaning you should not attempt to contradict or ever reverse the values and principles the United States of America holds dear. But know that with this pledge, you strengthen this country's real values. Money, land, things, power, not people. Is it a truth or a lie? That we, all of us here, are unable to be separated, unable to be divided, and we live in a state of morally right and fair rules? This As you agreeing to the inoculation against the virus of insufficient patriotism, where the flag we look to, with hand over heart, is your bond. Is that a bond you want to make? Son, do your own research. The flag is a symbol of death.
Columbus was one of the most barbaric beings to have ever been given breath, and he didn't discover a damn thing.
He occupied land that had already been inhabited.
America is not some republic. It is a corporation.
Your patriotism needs to be earned.
Obedience and loyalty to a morally bankrupt place must only be taken by those who are also morally bankrupt or ignorant.
America is not innocent, and its principles are bought and paid for.
America is a psychopath, urged consistently by greed to keep being a psychopath.
It's a Goliath.
It's a what?
A Goliath.
It's a what?
A Goliath.
Then I hope one day our sons pick up a rock, look that oppressive system in the eye, and take this broken mother down.
So you can put your hand over your heart if you want to, but to unconfuse the situation, I suggest you
keep your brown hands down.
Choose your friends wisely. Stay close to those who are where you want to be or where you're going. If vultures come around, the ones you call your friends, cut them off. Because vultures are death eaters, and we're trying to keep you alive.
You are your brother's keeper. You are your brother's keeper. You are your brother's keeper.
You are your brother's keeper.
You are your brother's keeper.
Tú eres el guardián de tu hermano.
There was a time when a man
Había un tiempo cuando un hombre
would solve disputes with his hands
podía resolver dispuestos con sus manos
and wake up the next day
y se despertaba el próximo día
to still be a man.
todavía siendo un hombre.
Now all these young boys
Ahora tantos jóvenes
that still want to be men
que quieren ser hombres,
want to solve a temporary issue
quieren resolver dispuestos temporales
with a permanent fix
con una solución permanente
that don't fix nothing at all.
que no resuelva nada en lo absoluto.
Always think first.
Siempre piensa primero.
Always think first.
Do you want to know why I work so hard? Why I juggle 3 jobs again? Why I'm not going to let you go back to that raggedy school? We're not going back to live on that block. So I'm about to talk to you about some things that I don't normally mention. I had a brother who died when he was 17, and I was 2. I didn't know him. So my mother, your grandmother, left me her journal. Son, I need you to know how this right here impacted your life. Okay? If you ever have children, Elena, and I hope you do one day, if you are blessed enough to have a son, make sure you don't raise him in a place where folks have so little, where they fight for everything just to survive. Because mere survival don't have time to teach the value of love. Son, that's all my mama, that's all she ever wanted me to do, was to save you. You realize that she was looking out for you even before you were thought of? But I need you to listen, okay? She wrote this so that I would know the story. You were too young to remember, but your older brother was killed by a man about 19 years old in the projects where my mother lived. And when I got the call, I just dropped my head in my hands and I cried. She said, I was angry because he was a real good person. He was about love and laughter and helping family. He came up in the projects, and he wanted to be more than what he saw on the street corners and the courtways. But he always remembered the good, the lessons that he was taught. Where he lived, we called him Vato. He had a smile that could light up a room. And he was walking through the courtyard on his way to the cigarette lady's house. And somebody saw him that he used to know that was holding on to something petty from the past. And they put a gun to his head. And he said, "Man, I'm not even on that. Come on now." And he just moved the gun away from his face. He turned around and he walked away. And within a few feet from my mother's backyard, somebody saw a laser and pointed it at him and shot him in the head. And he fell dead in the snow. I was out of town and I could not get there until the next day. But I didn't sleep. And I told your aunts who were there with him, who went and laid a blanket over him and closed his eyes, that I would not let my head touch a pillow while my son lay there on the ground. And they didn't move his body from that cold grave for like 8 hours. So to the cops, it was his unimportant, insignificant hood black body that lay there in the blood-stained snow while they just watched the projects that I was raising y'all in swallow another giant. I came in the next day, and his impression was still in that snow. And his blood was still in that snow. And everybody was still walking past, making new footprints in that snow. And when the snow did blow over, I just thought to myself, some people may never know what happened in that spot. But the reality is, it never blew over. It just sunk in deeper. And he was gone for nothing.
Gone for nothing.
Gone for nothing.
Gone for nothing.
We went outside where he fell. We had candles. We prayed hand in hand. We let balloons go up in the sky. And at each corner of that courtway, a brother stood with a gun in his hand, protecting us from the other brothers that might attack again, as if the night before did not put enough blood on their hands.
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 My son, she wrote this part for me. Now, baby girl, my whole body is filled with dis-ease. My mind, they say, is not right. And I wish I could stay longer for you. But I am holding a broken heart in my hands. And I can't carry death no more. I need thee, oh, I need thee. Every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to every hour.
No te estoy criando para que mires a tus hermanos y veas un enemigo. I'm not raising you to look at your brothers and see an enemy. Don't get me wrong. If you gotta fight, fight when it's time. Where it's necessary to defend yourself or your family, you must not even blink. But know that there is a difference between that and a brother putting a target on another brother's back, shooting him dead over stuff that's so old it's hard to remember the what and the why, because he'd been taught wrong and have no idea how to look his brother in the eyes and see a reflection of himself. Mijo, nunca intentes lastimar a tu hermano. Sobre propiedad, sobre bloques, sobre women, sobre dinero. Never aim to hurt your brother. Over property, over blocks, over women, over money. No. Life is more precious than that. Su sangre es tu sangre. Su vida es importante. His blood is blood of your own. His life matters. And you all have mothers that don't need another funeral. Mijo, your temper, your pride, your ego, whatever gets at you, stirs in a moment of blindness. Learn to put it in check, because it only takes a second to make a choice you can never forget and have to pay for the rest of your life. A veces, tienes que dejar que el momento pase. Cuando estés enojado, todavía tienes que usar tu cabeza. Son, you have to learn to let a moment pass. When you're angry and your adrenaline's pumping, you still gotta use your head. Hi. We got a lot of unresolved trauma. And we're not gonna get to the other side by losing our men. Mijo, I don't ever wanna lose you to nobody's bullet. Nunca, nunca quiero perderte por una bala. Walk away. Be still. Sabes que hay una casa esperando los dos. Know that there's a home waiting for both of you. Remember something you want, something you need to stay alive for. When folks tell you to stand and fight and unload, that's when stakes get too high and voices get too loud. You breathe. Be still. Nunca dejes que el miedo de lo que la gente diga de ti te mate. Never let fear of what people will say about you get you killed or turn into a weapon of your own genocide.
Son, come here. Son, I don't ever want you to get caught up in this phenomenon where folks want to capture everything on video. It's crazy. Movies made out of a live display of gladiator brutality is sick. People are losing their humanity, treating death like a sideshow, a spectacle. It's not some circus for folks to make profit, trading off tickets for hits. I teach you to live with empathy in your heart. No one should be laughing out loud about the pain and anguish of anyone clawing for life on camera. I can't with this. You have been taught since you were little. Life is precious. It has value. Always value it. You have to know when to separate yourself from the crowd. Anybody that will watch somebody's daughter get raped, somebody get shot, hit with the 2x4, or dragged in the middle of the street like it's a sport and not call for help is sick. And if you ever find yourself caught up in that madness, ask yourself, what's so funny? Who am I becoming? How is it cool to watch somebody else's pain? See, I ask myself daily, watching the news, how can we stand tall when we stand around waiting hungrily to consume a buffet of bodies? Son, last breaths are not meant to be some iPhone-generated YouTube broadcast voyeuristic demand of those who have nothing better to do. A burial and a funeral is long enough stretch of road for any family to have to walk while fighting to heal. They do not need to be reminded with video how popular it is for popular culture not to give a damn. You got me?
America is hungry for you. It is 5 times more likely to eat you up and spit you into a system than a white boy your own age. It is leading the world in mass incarcerations with only 5% of the population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. Overstand these facts. Prison is an industry. It is slavery, another reservation. Don't be making choices that'll have you walking into no cage. You're not animal. You're not made to be broken or to be invisible. Prisons going private to build other men's bank accounts. You know, they divest in you on the outside so they can invest in you on the inside. It's about numbers. No. Prison don't want no empty beds. It ain't about rehabilitation. It don't give a shit about nobody's families being left behind, parents torn from kids. If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. But it does. And if they tell you it makes you a man, they're lying. They don't know what a man is. No, prison it's not power. It's a place of fear. It's looking over your shoulder every second of every day like prey being hunted by those who've been hunted. It will grind down a mind so damn fast. You're not made to be stuck in nobody's market. To be a pawn, surrendering your labor to produce goods for others to sell, like war supplies? The irony. Brothers balled up in America's fist working hard for pennies to make way for America to ball up others so they can make more war. They can steal more land, torture more people that disagree with its tyranny. I have to make sure you know this. Because they're building more jails than schools. They're building their new world on black backs. Screw that. America's prisons want your body. But your body, that came out of my body. And you're my blood. And baby, you were born to be free.
Police do not respond the same to black people, especially black men. It's not just because some hate you, though some do. It's It's deeper than that. It's structural, institutional, deeply systemic, son. So you need this lesson fast. Be aware, but don't be afraid. Fear makes you lifeless. Let me overstate. Don't walk in fear. Some people think you are dangerous because you are a black man. It's idiotic. They believe their job is to save the world from you. Let me overstate. Save their children, their wives, especially their daughters. Especially their daughters. From you. The same system where rests policies and laws that they abide by don't see you as an equal, so traps are built just for you. We live in a society that has too many people in powerful seats playing God, that believe you are an animal and constantly recycles the methods of your death. Police like to think they are the chosen ones to help make America white again, and that mission gives them a sense of purpose, helps them to feel like they are somebody special, because the truth is, the ones that want to break us, they're already broken themselves. When I see a cop put his knee on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds until he dies, after hearing that man and the crowd shout that he couldn't breathe, or when the cops use a no-knock search warrant and kill an innocent woman by shooting her 5 times, or when I see a man on video shot by a cop, and that man, with the innocence of a child, turns and looks at that cop with the breath and strength he has left and asks, "Why did you shoot me?" My heart breaks for him and wants to keep you from ever having to use your last breaths for, "I can't breathe," or "Why did you shoot me?" or to call out for your mama. But the lessons on police for you, a black male, are all conflicting. You could be standing still. You don't have to be moving or running away. Just standing still can get you killed. On someone else's property, your own property, city property, the damn playground. And being too young is relative. Once their minds are made up, you can be doing the most ordinary, everyday things. Unpacking a U-Haul truck where you live. You could be pumping gas, buying chips from the corner store, walking down the street listening to music, driving kids to a baseball game, selling goods to feed your family. You can be holding your cell phone in your hand or standing in your grandparents' backyard. I can say don't hold your cell phone, but I can't stop there. Don't hold a prescription bottle or anything colored black or dark or light in the dark. I can say never change lanes without a turn signal. Sandra Bland. But I'd have to say never change lanes because all they have to do is say you didn't signal. Never make sudden movements. Never walk or run away from them. Never face them and stare or turn your back. Don't stand up or lay down or be on your knees with your hands raised. Breathe. Be calm. Speak light. Answer all questions, or don't breathe. Don't speak. Don't answer. It's all the same. Because of your origin. Your origin. You are their threat. And they wallow in that ignorance. So there are no proper steps to follow. There is no rule book to save you, and with them, there is no pleading your case. There is just you, a black man, at the right place, wrong place, any place, and them, a man in blue with the full force of systemic racism loaded in a black piece of steel, wanting you. So, I can't tell you exactly what to do when stopped. But I can
reflect. Swallow your pride. Think as clearly and as carefully as you can. Remember, they have the immediate power. And never let your rage show. This guarantees nothing, but it gives you what I hope is your best chance at returning home.
Philando Castile, Brendan Loggins, 19, Brendan Glenn, the top 23, Tony Robertson, Ronald Madison.
Amadou Diallo, 23, 1999. Terrence Crutcher, 40, 2016. Kendra James, 21, 2003.
Latanya Haggerty, 26, 1999. Sean Bell, 23, 2006. Eric Gardner, 43, 2014.
Michael Brown, 18, 2014. Alton Sterling, 37, 2016. Sandra Bland, 28, 2015.
Philando Castile, 32, 2016. Samuel DeBose, 43, 2015. Brendan Glenn, 29, 2015.
Freddie Gray, 25, 2015. Walter Scott, 50, 2015. Ezell Ford, 25, 2014.
Laquan McDonald, 17, 2014. Tamir Rice, 12, 2014. Yvette Smith, 47, 2014.
Jamar Clark, 24, 2015. Rakia Boyd, 22, 2012. Sharice Francis, 29, 2012.
Ramarley Graham, 18, 2012. Manuel Loggins, 31, 2012. Ronald Madison, 40, 2005. Tony Robinson, 19, 2015. Natasha McKenna, 37, 2015.
2020. 2020, yes. More names in 2020. Ahmaud Arbery, February 23rd. Manuel Ellis, March 3rd. Breonna Taylor, March 13th. Daniel Prude, March 30th. Michael Ramos, April 24th. Drayshawn Reed, May 6th. Deion Johnson, May 25th. George Floyd, May 25th. Tony McDade, May 27th. David McAddy, June 1st. Carlos Carson, June 6th. Rayshard Brooks, June 12th. Ramon Lopez, August 4th. Dijon Kizee, August 31st.
Sister Jaha said it best. We don't want burning candles. We want our babies back.
Give us our babies back. We need our babies back. Give me my baby back. We need our babies back.
Son, I know it's a lot going on right now with everything that just happened with George Floyd, with everything that's happening all over the news, the protests, the marches. I've been working on something I'm just going to share with you. There is no fruit stranger than man. Black flesh was never ripe to be picked, plucked, peeled, penetrated by human teeth, sharpened by this American dream. For anybody to desire, drink, devour, and digest our bodies like this country does is sick. It is not all right. Today's society still picks and eats, but they do it differently now with badges, bullets in backs, bars, bails, bonds, big guns, big politics, and even bigger appetites. I want you to know that the time is coming where the protest and the march, it's going to be a day too late. You already know what this is. And you already know how to use it. I taught you when you were old enough to hold it and when you were mature enough to control it. Because keeping our family safe is your priority. And because right now you are coming of age, very soon you're going to have one to call your own. But you know what? This thing, when you hold it, when you carry it in your hands, it's heavy. I want you to know that I want you to hold it with responsibility. It's not about violence. It's about self-defense. And it's going to come a time when we may have to defend ourselves. Like your uncle said, stay focused. When the enemy makes, buys, trades more guns while you are giving yours away, then that's a tragic imbalance, and you are going to do nothing but lose in the end. See, because folks, they always, son, they want to talk about a revolution, but they don't really know what it's like to be in a revolution, to see a revolution. And that's the time that we are approaching right now. Mark my words. But see, when you carry that gun, you got to shoot straight. Because it's too many brothers out there, they're shooting crooked. They're shooting other brothers that look just like them. They're shooting up the block. The block is the village. It's where folks are trying to live, where folks are trying to raise their families. That's not what we're about. That's not what I'm giving you that. When you turn of age 4, it's about something else. It's about the fact that we have a right to this American dream just like anybody else does. But see, we are standing in this moment right now in 2020 where they want you to believe that you are less than. You have to understand that long before Bibles, way before guns, before the Illuminati, before brothers were hung, before people were purchased, before priests and nuns, before billy clubs hit, before crosses were lit, before wars were fought, before English was taught, before Native Americans were slaughtered, before missionaries ever bothered to save the so-called unsaved. Son, we didn't need to be saved. We were the most mystical, miracle, ethereal beings to walk this planet. We had so much light in our spirit. The sun rises from our ancestors' graves, has a conversation with nature, and then calls it to rain. That's the kind of power you come from. This is what you're protecting. So that your son and his son and his son does not have to die in the street like an animal while people watch. Like Claude McKay said, if we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our curse lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain, and then even those we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. Son, we are at a time right now, and the revolution is not going to come knocking at the door, asking for us to talk and sit a while. It's going to come, if we are listening, like a loud shout. Wake up! The wolf is out there huffing and puffing, ready to blow your house down. But if we're not listening, if we're not attentive, we won't hear a thing. It'll barely whisper. Know that right now, it is time for us to come together and unify. So when you don't see me protesting and you don't see me marching out there with you and your friends, it's not because I'm not with the people. It's just right now I am preparing for the next step. Your boots will be getting laced up soon. Real soon. The revolution is coming sooner than you realize.
Your teacher called today, said you two got into it after she heard you say something disrespectful to a girl? What have I told you? Son, be respectful to others you come across in your everyday. Listen to your elders. They have a lot to offer you. Tienes que estar dispuesto a cambiar y crecer. You got to be willing to change and grow. Don't be a man of excuses. No me des excusas. Walking around everywhere angry. Know your value and respect yourself. Aprende tu valor y respétate a ti mismo. Enough not to be dragging your pants below your butt till you can barely walk, let alone run, wobbling around like a penguin, around here looking crazy. Mijo, you come from a proud family of hardworking men, hombres trabajadores. Stand in that. And don't ever call a woman a bee. Una cualquiera. Esas son palabras corrientes. Some women may have baggage. Everybody does. Some may drop it on you. But still, baggage don't make them no bee. Your mama ain't a bee, is she? Tu mamá es una cualquiera. Well then. Mijo, you gotta be disciplined. Learn how to let go before you explode. Walk away from drama. It ain't worth it, mijo. If words like that creep up on your tongue, something ain't right. Treat a woman with respect, con respeto.
I heard you talking to Keisha today, telling her if she keep testing you, you gonna slap the what out of her. Now, you know what you said, right? So that's what we doing. We slapping girls now? Come, sit down. Sit down. Do you need to be reminded of the story? Do you? Your mama hanging off that 3rd floor balcony while your daddy was deciding if I was worth pulling up or not. Made me fight for you and leave my own house, walk in the snow, middle of the night, barefoot, looking over my shoulder the whole way, afraid he might drag us back into that house. I'm here by grace. And because I got the courage to leave, I am a survivor. Don't walk in the footsteps that your daddy left behind. Don't hit your woman. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. And if you do, especially with what you know, you's a damn fool, and you better not bring your raggedy butt here trying to explain nothing to me. After anybody have to call me about a black eye my son has made. My home won't be your home after that. Because I don't let men back in after they done already had enough lessons about what a man is and what he ain't, but still got twisted knots of ego and power all tied up in them. I don't accept cowards. They don't do nothing but bring dirt in my house. Dirt in my house. Do you hear me? You hear me?
And don't ever emotionally abuse a woman. Because there's a lot of ways to crush somebody without using your hands, son. Toxic relationships without a raised fist may be even easier to get stuck in. It buries so much that the eye can't see, but that the soul feels like a hammer on a nail, just as deep. Affection is not something to withhold. Surrender or let go. Don't make threats to expose her dark places. Don't hit her below the belt with words that sting, or even give away secrets that were shared with you. Even in a heavy time, mean what you say and say what you mean. Shaming someone you love is not what a real man would do. Ultimatums? Don't play that game. And privacy is deserved by both of you. Don't give yourself permission for her social media, voicemails, messages, or anything else to be something you have the right to invade. You don't. Own your behavior. Because a man takes responsibility for what he's done. And don't alienate her from her family and friends. Okay? That's not what we're doing here. You have to know that emotional abuse can be so quiet on the surface that no one even hears it. Not even the person taking it every day. I just want you to know what it is because I water you every single day. And I expect you to be a great man. I expect you to be a different kind of man. All right?
Girl, look at what they over there talking about. They're talking about them girls. Come over here. Mm-hmm. Here.
Yeah. And you too. And you better watch your attitude with me. I see y'all around here smelling yourselves. Let me tell you something. These girls that you got in your face, you best be responsible.
Mm-hmm. Your mama didn't raise no fool. Don't be in these streets making babies, because at your age, babies come with baby mamas, not wives. And you, especially you, don't need to be playing house.
Look, a baby ain't something that you just get tired of and just throw away. Don't go playing no games and then aim for the door. Because 9 months later, I'm not going to let you forget her name just because it's convenient.
Sons and daughters, they your flesh and blood, just like you mine. Any child you bring in this world need love and lots of it, and attention, and a lot of that too. Mm-hmm. Boy, fix your face. Running around here smelling like yesterday. Girl.
Listen, look, this is serious though. Don't take it lightly.
Some things you get to walk away from like it never happened. A kid ain't one of them things. Trust me. As many stitches as I had to get after his big head but came into this world.
She still stayed, and I know it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. It was not easy. But it's enough of them without daddies, you know.
You're right.
I'm not raising you to be one of them. Now, if you're man enough to make that bed, you're going to have to lay in it.
Now, listen, it's enough ways out here today. And we done already had that talk to keep you from making that bed. Look at you. Running around here all raw and reckless.
And don't sacrifice so much so soon. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh, for now.
Wait, and another thing.
If she can't use my comb,
Don't bring her home.
That's why I would. I got you.
Listen, it's real important you overstand before you go off to college that the only body that belongs to you is yours. Now, you at an age where you call yourself having a girlfriend. Don't shake your head. I'm not trying to follow you and listen in on your phone conversations. You are all around this house laughing too loud, talking way too loud in what you think is a whisper to that girl anyway. All your little secrets just come and find me somehow. But that's another conversation. Right now, I'm talking about you making sure you keep your hands to yourself at all times, unless you both consent. Make a conscious decision, each of you, without force or manipulation or without being under any type of influence. You make sure where you or her put your hands is all right with the other. Now, I know this seems like common sense, mijo, but it's not. I know very few women who even make it into their 20s without having been wrongly touched by some man who stepped out of his lane and thought it was okay to take her body like a thing that was his in a moment filled with stupidity. It don't matter what the moment was filled with. You don't have a right. I don't care. Trust me, mijo, I know what I'm talking about personally. Now, I know this is not what you want to hear, so I won't go into detail. But when I'm trying to raise you to be a good man, there's certain truths I have to surrender. Mijo, I've been on the wrong side of this before. So you know what I've been through and what I'm made of and what you made of. You see what's happening all over the news? Women are rising up, fighting collectively. We've been in a pressure cooker too long. Now, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with the whole way this thing is moving forward. I definitely don't believe in anyone being automatically seen as guilty. But I'm just saying it is past due for women to walk into our voice around some of the terrible stuff that we've had to endure silently because folks wanted us to feel guilty, like it was our fault somehow. Never, you hear me? Never put claim on a body like it's property to be had or shared. Now, I'm not saying that I believe you would ever do anything like this, but you see, I still have to have this conversation. Shouldn't be no power in overpowering someone else. Consent only. Okay? Consent only. Because we all gotta live with our bodies until the day we die. And unwanted fingerprints is something no woman can ever really clean off.
I want you to be strong and make decisions, son, like you got a mama that loves you. And your choices, you better make them count because you're going to have to pay too high of a price for the wrong ones. And it's going to cost me too. So when you go out into the world, you remember, I am a part of your step. Walk tall and pace yourself. What you do and speak will reflect many of the truths that I have and will carefully place into you to drown out the years of systems that have tried to fight me for your mind. They didn't know who your mama was, did they? But until you've created your own rule, let some of my lessons be some of the good food you choose from. Life and your manhood will add to it until you've created a full feast. Now, feast is only a big meal. It don't mean that everything's healthy. And some of that feast will make you sick if you consume it. But that's why I'm here, because I love you to life. Always have, and I always will, even though you wore me out and gave me gray hairs. I love you to life.
You don't ever need to ask where the light is. It's never been something you've had to wait for. Just love yourself, son. Look in the mirror and see that you are the light. The light. The light.
You are never give up. Powerful and strong, you know right from wrong. You are truth and blessings. You are the fire, the earth, the wind that stirs new birth. You are success, intelligence, fearlessness, resilience.
You are I will not go down without a fight. You are for my people, I am not afraid to die. You are manifester of dreams.
You come from cloth that is pure and clean, that could speak to the heavens and part the seas.
While listening to Revelation in isolation from a world of noise, you have always been a king.
You have always been a king. You know family is your anchor. Village is your cover. Lineage is your reminder that you are in line with spirit.
You are dynasty.
You are village.
You are ancient.
You are pyramid.
You're a kinship.
You be the note to this world. The prescription for his disease rests in your DNA.
Rest in your DNA.
Rest in your DNA.
Rest in your DNA.
You be the note to this world. The prescription for its disease. Rest in your DNA.
You have the ability to feed the people peace, something this place does not know but needs you to teach.
That the answer is love.
You are loved. Show the way. Show the way. Be love.